Hey engineers, this is Mr. Hernandez, and in this video we're going to be learning how to design your dream room in Tinkercad. Now, what do we mean by dream room? Well, if you've ever seen things like Extreme Makeover Home Edition and stuff like that, what we're trying to do is basically the ideal room that you wish you had in your house if you had like infinite money, but it's probably impossible for most people. So let's take a look at what I mean here. So, designing your dream room. Let's look at some examples of what could qualify as a dream room. First, what we have here is kind of like somebody's living room, I think. So you can see we've got a nice balcony to go outside. We've got lots of great art on the walls. So if this is your style, this would be great for you. This is a little bit more video gamey. This is somebody's bedroom with all kinds of crazy decorations all around. Another bedroom. This one's like pirate ship themed. It even includes like an aquarium that goes underneath the floor. Or maybe instead of a bedroom, you're looking for more like a home theater. So a space that you can sit down and maybe sit down and watch a movie with your friends. Obviously, this one has kind of a Dark Knight theme going on. Or maybe you just really want to be able to hang out and play video games. Maybe you want to have a collection of screens and every console under the sun all together. Or maybe it's more about having a normal space, but with room for all of your activities. Maybe you want to be able to like rock climb or have a hammock inside your house. And also, it doesn't just have to be like a relaxation place. It could be like a craft room or a workshop like this. And you can even think outside the box. Maybe it's even like a combination garage if you really like cars or things like that. So this is the time to, really showcase the things that you're interested in, what you would include in a room if you just had as much, or if you could just really remove all the limitations. So how are we going to design this? First, you need to decide on the main purpose. So we saw a couple of examples there. You need to decide if this is going to be like a bedroom or a gaming room, maybe a home theater, a craft room. Maybe it's just going to be like a living room, like a place to hang out. No matter what it is, you first have to decide what the main goal is here. Next, we're going to start brainstorming by creating a design board. So a design board is just kind of unstructured, unfocused, just trying to grab images of whatever we think would look good in this space. So for example, if you wanted to include the different consoles for gaming room, you'd find a picture of the consoles and the TV you want. If you're going more for like a craft room, you might include the tools that you want, or a very nice workbench. Maybe that's just me speaking about my dream room. From the very unfocused, brainstormy design board, we're going to refine that down and make a list. So this list is going to be the things that we need to have in this room and which things would just be nice to have. Because ultimately, we are going to 3D model this, and so we don't have infinite space. We do have to make some choices here. Next, we're going to learn how to change the scaling. So just like with the solar system, we're going to scale everything down. This time we're going to go down to 2% scaling. So we'll have a different scaling factor, and we'll go over that soon. And then last, we're going to build the room itself. So for this lesson, we are only going to build the outside of the room, the actual walls and structure. Next time, you guys are going to build the furniture and all of the other features, and we're going to fill in the room. But for now, we're going with brainstorming, and then we'll build the physical structure of the room itself. So now we'll take a look at the document and everything that you're going to fill in here. So if those instructions made sense to you, you can feel free to go ahead and get started on this. But if you want to see a walkthrough, I'm going to show you guys kind of how I would design something like this, just to give you guys some examples. So let's start with the main purpose. If I was designing this for myself, I would go with kind of a board gaming room. So a place where I could have like a nice big table, have lots of board games, and a place to, kind of hang out and have people over and play those games together. So for my design board, I would look for, let's see, board game collection. And it doesn't need to be specific. You just want to grab some images that sort of show what things you want to have here. I'm going to add them to the design board here. See? There we go. There's a board game collection. I would definitely want to have a board game table. So something like that looks great. Maybe I want to have like a mini fridge in here. That one looks nice. And you can keep on going. Like I said, it's unstructured. You can just sort of shrink these down. They don't even need to be labeled here. You can change the image options so that they just kind of sit there in the text, and you can have them sort of sit around here. There doesn't really need to be any kind of structure here. You can think of this kind of like you're just sticking things to a pinboard and sort of putting all your ideas out there. But from here, you're going to refine this, and we're going to start by making a list of the things that it must have. So for this, I would say shelves for game collection. Maybe I would include the big table. Maybe I would say 6 chairs. Something like that. And then if there was still more room, I might include things like decorations. I'd probably put the fridge down here because that's not really required for this setup, but it'd be nice to have. You should aim to have at least 3 or 4 things for both of these, for both the must-haves and the if there's still room section. But as long as you have a few there, that's great. So this is our list. So moving on, we're going to learn how to convert units from feet to millimeters, and then from millimeters down to our scale factor. So this is similar to what we were doing last week with the solar system, but this time it's going to be for a room. So our room size is going to be 10 feet wide by 20 feet long with 10-foot high ceilings. So this is a pretty decent sized room that we have to work with here. And the first step that we have is to convert from feet to millimeters, and we do so by multiplying by 305. This is a slight approximation. It's actually 304.8, but we'll round that up just a little bit here. So we're going to use 305 as our conversion. So just to show you, all you need to do is open up a calculator, 10 times 305, and that gives us 350. Now for each of these dimensions, we've got length and width and height. So we've got 350 millimeter length. Let's double check what 20 times 305 is. So 20 times 305 is 6,100. So a width of 6,100, and last a height of 3,050. Now, this is the size of the room in real life, but remember, we have to scale it down. So to scale it down, we're going to shrink it down to just 2% of what its real life size is. And to do that, we're going to multiply these numbers by 0.02. So let's go ahead and try that here. I'm going to use the calculator for this. So we want 350 times 0.02. So our first number, our width or our length, is going to be 61. And our second value is 6,100. So we're going to take 6,100 times 0.02. And there we go, 122. And I could check the last one, but I know the last one is also 3,050. So that means that our height is also going to be 61. So those are the dimensions of the room. Now we need to decide how big the doors are going to be. So we're going to go with a standard size door. So standard size door is 3 feet wide by 8 feet tall, or slightly less than 8 feet tall, about 6.5 feet tall. So these are the dimensions in feet of a standard size door. I'm going to do the same conversion here. So that's going to be 3 times 305. That gives us 915. And then the center one is 0.15 times 305. That gives us 45.75. And the rest is on you. All right, so you're gonna go ahead and finish the calculation for the height of the door, which is 6.66. And then you're going to calculate the width of the door, or the scaled size of the door, shrinking it down to 2%. exactly the same way as we just did for the room. One more. Now, at long last, we are going to build the room. So the instructions are written out here, but I'm going to go ahead and walk you through them in the video. First thing is you need to decide how many entrances your room is going to have. Is it just going to be one door coming in? Is it going to be one door in, one door out? Because that's going to decide how many doors you're going to have. So I'm going to go ahead and say I have 2 doors. And you can also build windows at this stage as well. So I'm going to say just one large window. So there's my decision for the structure of the room. Now let's go into Tinkercad and let's actually build this. So in Tinkercad, you're going to start by creating a new design. And the first thing that we're going to do is build a box that is the exact size of the room. So this box is going to be 61 by 122 by 61. So that means it's going to be 61 by 122 by 61. Okay, so that is the structure of the room. So next step, we're going to click on it. We're going to Control-C, Control-V, make a copy of it. And this copy, we are going to shrink by 2 millimeters in every direction. So instead of 61 here, actually 2 millimeters in the X and Y directions. We can leave the height alone. So 61 is going to go down to 59. 122 is going to go down to 120. Next, we want to raise this up by 2 millimeters. That way, we're going to have a floor. Because what we're going to do next is change this to a hole. We're going to select both and align them on the work plane. So you see, when we join these two, we're going to be left with just the walls and a floor here. I'm going to go ahead and group these, and there is the room. So it's got walls, it's got a floor. It's a pretty good start. The next thing to do is to take another box, and you're going to take the dimensions that you calculated for the door, and you're going to use that in order to cut an entrance in the side here. You can do the same thing for the window, but you've got a lot more leeway for the windows here. All right, engineers. So the screenshot that you need to provide is just of the room with a door cut in the side of it. Make sure to raise that door up 2 millimeters so it doesn't cut into the floor. Otherwise, it'll look strange. But this is it for this assignment. Next week, we're going to take your list of objects that you want to include in your room, and we're going to start 3D modeling all of those objects, and we're going to start filling out this space. So as always, send me an email or come to my office hours if you need any help with this. I'd be more than happy to help you out. I'm looking forward to seeing what your designs look like and seeing what your guys' possible dream rooms would be.